Welcome to Annie's English Studio, where every conversation opens a new door. I'm Annie. Let's get started. So, I need your opinion about something.
Uh-oh. That usually means you're about to convince me to do something.
Maybe.
Annie,
Okay, so some friends of mine are planning a hiking trip through the mountains in Europe next summer. And honestly, I have always wanted to do something like that.
that sounds incredible.
It does. The only problem is, it sounds like it is going to be serious hiking, proper trails, and a lot of walking uphill. And I have never really done anything like that before.
So, you have decided to take up hiking.
I am thinking about it. If I am really going to do this, I had better start practicing now.
And the opinion you need from me?
I was wondering if you would want to learn with me.
You want me to take up hiking?
We could figure it out together. What do you think?
You do realize hiking involves actual hills, right?
I have heard rumors.
Hmm, that is a surprisingly good sales pitch.
That is not a yes.
No, but it is getting closer. How far are we talking?
I do not know yet. That is kind of the point. We would have to find out.
Okay, I am in, but I have absolutely no idea where to start.
Neither do I, so let us figure it out.
Although, I should probably admit something.
What is that?
I have absolutely no idea what a first hike is supposed to look like.
I do not either.
In my head, I immediately picture dramatic mountains, tiny winding trails, and people wearing backpacks that somehow look much lighter than they probably are.
I know exactly what you mean. Everyone always looks so comfortable in the photographs.
Right, they look as though they casually spend every weekend climbing mountains before lunch,
And then there is us.
wondering whether we remembered to bring enough water.
Or whether we are even walking in the right direction.
That too.
Although I suppose everyone starts there.
They must.
Nobody is born knowing how to read a trail map or pack a backpack properly.
I suppose not.
We only ever see people after they already know what they are doing.
That is true. You never really see the first attempt.
The slightly confused version.
The version that stops every few minutes to check whether everyone is still going the right way.
Or whether they accidentally packed 3 sandwiches and forgot the water.
That sounds exactly like something I would do.
Me too.
Somehow that actually makes me feel better.
Why?
Because I think I had quietly assumed everyone else already knew how to hike, and we would be the only beginners.
I have a feeling every experienced hiker was once standing exactly where we are now.
Looking at a pair of hiking boots and wondering what to do next.
I think so.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
When you imagine it, what do you actually picture?
Honestly, mountains, fresh air, walking somewhere that feels completely different from ordinary life.
Not the exercise part?
I mean, I am sure that is part of it. But no, not really. I think life moves so quickly sometimes. It would be nice to spend a whole day where there is nowhere to rush.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
What about you? What do you picture?
I think I would spend the first hour just looking around, taking it all in.
Me too.
I would probably stop every 5 minutes to take pictures.
We might never finish the trail.
Probably not.
Can you imagine watching the sunrise from somewhere up high? No buildings, no traffic, just mountains and sky.
That does sound incredible. Though I have to be honest, I have never actually woken up early enough to watch a sunrise.
Neither have I.
So we are planning to hike mountains, and neither of us has ever watched a sunrise.
I think that might be the point.
Trying things you have never done before.
That is it.
I think what surprises me most is I always assumed hiking was just walking, but it sounds like something else entirely.
I think it is. At least the kind my friends are describing. They said there are days when you walk for 6 or 7 hours.
6 or 7 hours.
Although there is still one part I keep coming back to.
The hills?
The hills.
I was hoping we'd quietly move past those.
Afraid not.
So all of this peaceful scenery and fresh mountain air still involves walking uphill for several hours.
Some of it, yes.
All right. I think I finally understand why you said we had better start practicing.
That is exactly why I need your help. If we are really going to do this properly, I think we need a plan.
I have a feeling buying the backpack is probably the easy part.
I think you are right about that.
So, where do people even begin?
That is exactly what I have been trying to figure out. I looked a few things up, and honestly, there is a lot of information out there.
That is either very helpful or completely overwhelming.
Both, actually.
Okay, let us start with something simple. If we picked a trail this weekend, could we just wear regular sneakers?
I asked the same question, and apparently, not really. Most people recommend proper hiking boots, especially on uneven ground.
So the first thing we need is boots.
Yes, but here is the part I did not expect. Apparently, you cannot just buy hiking boots and immediately go hiking.
Why not?
You have to break them in first. That means wearing them gradually. Short walks, then longer ones. That way the boots soften and adjust to the shape of your feet. Otherwise, you end up with blisters.
So nobody buys boots the night before a big hike?
Definitely not.
I would 100% have done that.
Same.
Okay, boots, break them in. What else?
Before we go any further, can I ask you something?
Certainly.
When you picture hiking gear, what do you actually picture?
Honestly?
Honestly,
Someone wearing clothes that somehow look both incredibly practical and incredibly expensive.
that was exactly my first thought.
Everything always seems to match.
Yes, the backpack matches the jacket matches the boots.
And somehow even the water bottle looks professional.
Meanwhile, I would probably show up with an old backpack I found in the closet,
Mine would still have a laptop sleeve inside.
which is probably not essential on a mountain.
I certainly hope not.
I think it is funny how quickly we convince ourselves we need to look like an expert before we have even tried something once.
That happens with a lot of hobbies.
It really does.
We see people who have been doing something for years.
And somehow expect ourselves to look exactly like them on day one.
Which is not a particularly fair expectation.
Not at all.
I suppose the important thing is not looking like a hiker.
It is becoming one.
Even if, for the first few weeks, we look like two people who borrowed the wrong backpacks.
I think that is almost guaranteed. Well, this is where it starts to get a little interesting, because apparently there is quite a lot of gear involved. Gear's just another word for all the equipment and clothing you need for a particular activity. For hiking, that includes boots, a backpack, a water bottle, and layers of clothing for changing weather.
Layers?
Apparently, the temperature can change a lot when you are walking uphill. You might start out feeling warm and then suddenly need a jacket at the top.
I genuinely had not thought about that.
You know what I find reassuring?
What is that?
Every time I look something up, experienced hikers all seem to say the same thing.
Which is,
You do not have to know everything before your first hike.
that is encouraging.
They all seem to learn a little more every time they go.
Which makes sense.
It does. But I think sometimes we imagine there is a moment when someone suddenly knows everything.
As though one day you wake up and officially become a hiker.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
I have a feeling it does not work that way.
I do too.
You probably just keep learning.
And after a while, one day you look back and realize you have become the person you were hoping to become.
Without noticing exactly when it happened.
I think that might be true of a lot of things.
Including learning English.
Definitely learning English.
Most people never notice the day they become more confident.
They just realize one day that conversations feel easier than they used to.
I like that thought.
Me too. And there is something else. I have a feeling buying the gear is actually the easy part.
What do you mean?
Well, we also need to choose the right trail. A trail is a path through nature, through forests, hills, or mountains. It is specifically designed for walking or hiking, and they are not all the same. Some are short and flat, some are long and steep. For beginners, you want something manageable.
So there is an art to choosing the right one.
That is the idea. You do not want to start with something too difficult. Most people recommend beginning with shorter, flatter trails and working up gradually.
You know what surprises me most about all of this?
What?
I came into this conversation thinking hiking was something you just did. You put on shoes and you walk somewhere. But it sounds like there is actually quite a lot to learn.
There is, but somehow that makes it even more interesting. You are not just going for a walk, you are learning something new.
I like that.
And the good news is, nobody expects beginners to know everything on the first day. That is the whole point of starting.
So step one is boots
Step one is boots.
that I can manage. So what does that actually look like starting? I mean, do we just find a trail and go?
I think so, but maybe our first hike does not even need to be called a hike.
Just a long walk?
That is what I was thinking, somewhere nearby. A park, maybe, or a nature trail close to the city. Nothing too ambitious, just enough to get used to walking longer distances and wearing the boots.
Breaking them in at the same time.
Right, two things at once.
I like that. It feels manageable.
And then gradually we can start to train properly. To train means to practice and prepare your body for something physical. That means building up your strength and stamina over time. So for us, that might mean walking a little further each week, maybe adding some hills.
Hills again.
They keep coming up.
I am beginning to think hills are the whole point.
I think they might be.
Can I say something?
Of course.
When you first mentioned this today, I was not sure it was for me. Hiking felt like something other people do. People with the right gear, the right experience, the right everything.
And now,
Now it feels like something two people with no experience and the wrong shoes could probably figure out.
That is exactly what we are.
I find that oddly encouraging.
Can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
You know, there are probably a lot of things I never tried simply because I assumed I had missed my chance.
Really?
Yes, not because anyone told me that, just because I told myself.
I think we all do that sometimes.
We see someone who has been playing the piano for 20 years, or speaking another language fluently, or hiking every weekend.
And we forget that they all had a first day.
They certainly did.
I suppose it is easy to compare our beginning with someone else's middle.
That is a good way of putting it.
And it is probably one of the quickest ways to convince yourself not to start.
Which is such a shame.
Because nobody ever becomes experienced without first being inexperienced.
That almost sounds obvious when you say it,
It does.
but somehow we forget it whenever we want to learn something new.
Maybe because being a beginner feels a little uncomfortable.
I think it does.
But it also sounds kind of exciting.
I was just thinking the same thing. And I think that is one of the best things about deciding to take up a new hobby. To take up something means to start doing it, to add it to your life. And when you first begin, everyone is a beginner. There is no other way in.
There is no shortcut to the middle.
There is no shortcut to the middle. That might be my favorite thing you have said today.
So when do we start?
I think we already have. Before we finish today, I want to go back through some of the words and expressions we used in this conversation. Ben, do you want to start?
Sure, the first one is to take up. To take up something means to start doing it. To add a new activity or hobby to your life. As in, Annie somehow convinced me to take up hiking.
You came willingly.
Eventually.
The next one is trail. A trail is a path through nature, through forests, hills, or mountains. It is designed for walking or hiking. Trails vary in difficulty, so it is always a good idea to choose one that matches your experience level.
Gear. Gear is just another word for all the equipment and clothing you need for a particular activity. For hiking, that includes boots, a backpack, a water bottle, and layers of clothing for changing weather.
To train. To train means to practice and prepare your body for something physical. For beginners, that might simply mean walking a little further each week and gradually adding more challenging routes.
And hills.
And hills.
To break in. To break in a new pair of boots or shoes means to wear them gradually so they soften and adjust to the shape of your feet. Do not wear brand new boots on a long hike. Your feet will not forgive you.
Learned that one the almost hard way.
We both would have.
Two more. To be in. When someone says they are in, it means they have agreed to participate. They are joining. Ben, when I asked if you wanted to learn with me,
I said I was in. After a reasonable amount of hesitation.
a very reasonable amount.
And the last one? I had better. This is a natural expression we use when we know we should do something soon. Annie used it earlier. If I'm really going to do this, I had better start practicing now. You know you should do it, and probably not put it off much longer.
So, we came into this conversation with an idea and no plan. And we are leaving with still not much of a plan, but somehow it feels different.
It feels like something we are actually going to do.
Yes, and I think that is what starting really is. Not knowing everything yet, but being willing to take the first step anyway.
Even if that first step is just buying boots.
Even then, if there is a hobby you have always wanted to take up, maybe this is the perfect time to begin. We hope you will join us again for our next conversation.
But before you go, tell us in the comments, what is one hobby you have always wanted to take up? We would love to hear your answer, and we will let you know how the boots feel.
This is Annie, reminding you that English is not just a language, it is a door, and every episode you open it a little wider. Until next time, keep opening doors.